guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm back with another video. Today's video is another review, and this one is about the movie Trapped, the Alex Cooper story that's on Lifetime. So guys, if you're watching, please make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications, comment down below any movie or show reviews that y'all would like for me to do, and I will gladly do them for you guys. So let's go and get on into this video. So the movie I watched was called Trapped, the Alex Cooper story, which is based on a true story. So it starts off with this girl. Her name is Alex Cooper, of course, because that's the name of the movie. So she's a 15-year-old. She lives in, at the time, she was living in Southern California with her parents. And she was going to school or whatnot. And then I guess eventually one day she noticed she liked girls. Because I guess there was like two cheerleaders was walking in the hall or whatever. And she was just staring. But her friend was looking at her, which was Daniela at the time. She was looking like, you were drooling over these girls. And she was like, no, I wasn't. I was just, trying to play it off like, But as it started progressing, she realized that she really liked girls. Mind you, she's only 15 at the time, so it just started progressing more and more. So she started hanging out with this girl, or whatever, that she met, I think, through her friend's sister or whatever. And, they started hanging out more and more and more. She would stay out late. And, her parents would be like, what are you doing? You out with boys and all that stuff. And then thing about it is, what really also got her into trouble was she would lie and say that she was with her friend, Daniela. But her friend lives literally like a couple of houses down from where she actually lives. And, eventually Daniela was like, no, she's not with us. She's not over here. And then her parents started like growing suspicious and looking like, And then one day, Alex's parents, when she finally did come home, they found out she had like a hickey on her neck. And they thought it was because she was staying out with boys. But another time she had went out, and she was like, she didn't come in at all. So her parents went and called the police thinking that she was missing. But she ended up coming in the next morning. And it was like, it was just weird. They thought that she was hanging out with boys. And basically, they didn't look at what she was doing as good because they're like a religious family. And it just wasn't like, they try to figure out what to do to get through to her. So eventually days go past or whatever, and they kept nagging her, saying like, you out with boys, you doing this, you doing this. And then she finally comes out and was like, no, I was out with a girl. I like girls. And her parents kicked her out. So she went, I guess in a semi way, apologized to her friend Daniela. And Daniela's and her family let her stay there for like a couple of days. And then Daniela's parents was talking to Alex's parents, and they came to the conclusion that, they're gonna pick her up and she's gonna go stay at her grandparents. So she was like, okay. I mean, I don't mind my grandparents. I mean, I go there all the time, so it's not a problem. So, they eventually picked up her things from Daniela's house. And then they went on this long road trip to go to Alex's grandparents' house. So they on the road, not thinking, she's on the road, not thinking nothing, but like, okay, I'm going to my grandparents' house. I know it's going to be an easy couple of weeks or whatever the case may be. So they, do their little gas runs and stops and stuff like that. They eventually was driving, and she's thinking in her, like, this is not the way to my grandparents' house. I know how to get to my grandparents' house, because obviously I go in there a lot. But, they end up pulling up into the stranger's house with her grandparents in the yard. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Yes. And they end up getting out the car. She ends up locking herself in the car. And then what was funny is the guy, the stranger, he ends up unlocking the car. Their car. He ended up locking the car and opening the door and pulling her out to bring her into the house. So basically, her parents sent her to a conversion therapy situation household. Yeah, I will answer what a conversion therapy is right here. Ding. Okay, yeah, so conversion therapy. So basically, her parents didn't approve of her lifestyle. So basically, her parents sent her away so they can help change her mind to think of like being straight. They think being same sex, gay, lesbian, LGBT, the whole situation is a abomination. They don't believe in that, and they do not want to see their daughter be labeled as that. But that's just what her daughter is labeled at. But at the time they did not know that, and they was trying to force her to change her mind. I think, oh, it's a phase, she'll grow out of it, maybe she'll be here a couple of weeks to a couple of months, and things would change, and then she could come back home. No, that did not happen. It went from a couple of days to a couple of weeks to a couple of months. Yes, to the point that they had her dressed in like a long shirt and a long skirt, whatever. So basically all the clothes that she brung, she couldn't wear. It was like a waste of time. She basically could have came there with nothing. And also they do this to other kids. So they also had two other kids. Two of them are boys. One of them was actually like her, but he liked boys, and the other one was actually there because he was stealing or whatever, and he got caught. So they thought these methods will be beneficial to them to help them change their ways, but obviously it didn't help. So basically she's there. She eventually does come around, but it's also to the point that she wants to go back home. Their treatment and punishment towards her was getting a little bit excessive. So like if she didn't comply with the rules or whatever, she would have to wear a bag full of rocks. Rocks are heavy. And the fact that she had a whole book bag full of rocks, like imagine the torture on her back and her arms was excruciating. So she also had like, hold on. Whew. Okay. So she would end up having to wear a bag full of rocks for a few hours to a couple of days, or every single day from the time she wake up to the time she go to sleep. It got so bad that when she did take off her book bag, like right here was all bruised as if she was getting beat with something. That's how hard it was to carry the book bag. And she would be just standing there from time to time all day. When people come in, they be watching her standing, because where she had to stand, it was like in the beginning, like when you walk in the door, she'd be standing right there. So when people got to see you when you walk past, and it's just like nobody said anything, because they knew everybody in that town, and it's a small town. They even made it to the point where she could not even get in contact with her own grandparents. It's like her own grandparents just like disowned her. And they would be in the church together. She saw them. They would sit like a few rows away from each other. And she would be sitting there watching her grandparents looking like, you're not going to say hi to me or nothing. She was like, okay, well, I guess, all right, I'm going to just do what I got to do and eventually get out of here. She did get to see her parents for Christmas. She told them about how the punishment was that they actually whooped her in a car. Yes, I left that part. Before the rocks incident, they went to the grocery store to go shopping to get groceries. So they gave the lady name was Tiana. Those are her parents. Her parents' names are Tiana and Johnny. So Tiana gave Johnny and Alex a list to go shopping to get more groceries for the household. So she ends up getting the green beans, and he was like, "What are you doing?" Mind you, she's picking up the green beans. I guess that's like $3 a can. He was like, "No, get the 2 for $1." And he screamed at her like, "You could have just said that nicely. Like, how is she supposed to know? She's new here, and you got her doing all these things. She don't know what y'all do because basically they kept her in every single day. She didn't even get a chance to go to school. She did her school basically remotely, like how it is now. And it's like, y'all just afflicting so much, forcing this of what y'all trying to do to get her to change her ways, but obviously it ain't work. After that, she did the rocks incident. She eventually started complying. Just, how when you try to obey rules and you do what you gotta do so you can get out and do what you can do and go on about your business. Well, she did that as well. And eventually they was like, okay, you're doing good. We're going to get you to go to school. She went to school. She found some boy. I think his name was Josh. She found that he was gay. And his parents, his mom, didn't have a problem with that. So she ended up talking to him. And, he found somebody that can help her get out of where she's in. Because her parents signed over her rights to the people, Tiana and Johnny, to take care of her. So basically, it's like giving your child away for adoption. And the fact that her parents let them inflict so much pain on her, and they didn't say nothing. She told them what happened to, and the parents went back and told them, like, that part I did not really understand. That part just made me like, so disgusted with them. But and so on. As you fast forward, Josh was able to get Alex in contact with somebody named Paul. Paul is a lawyer to fight for the LGBTQT rights of children. So they get in contact with Alex, get in contact with Paul, and they start, finding ways so that they can get them to get her out of that situation so she can be on and be free with her life. So that goes well. One of the teachers, I believe the teacher is actually Josh's mom. I did not know that. That's one person that Tiana and Johnny did not really, get in contact with, or she didn't have classes with her, or that they didn't know Tiana, whatever the case would be. That's one person that Tiana and Johnny did not know, because every time if she was late to class or she was in the bathroom too long, they reported back to Tiana and Johnny. So it's like they knew before she even told them what was going on. So it was like, so when she did something wrong, she had to go stand up with the bag of rocks. She had to do so much stuff. And it's just like, she just couldn't take it. So she ended up being there for 8 months. 8 months. She had her birthday. She turned 16. She was still there. It was just like, your parents really just didn't think that being a lesbian was such a great thing. Well, eventually, Paul and Josh and all of them, the ones that actually helped Alex, they helped fight for her rights. And then they passed a law saying that you can be openly gay and you can live your life without having to deal with all the pressures, and that conversion therapy is not mandatory for you to do in order for you to live a happily friendly life as being a lesbian, gay, or bisexual, whatever the case may be. So eventually, she does reconcile with her parents, but I guess they're not that close or whatever. So then she ends up moving to, at the end of the movie, they tell you what really happened to her. In the end, she gets out. She, reconciles with her parents. Then she moves to Oregon. And she living her best life. She's become an advocate, speaker for speaking out for people like her and teens that feel the pressure of being told you're not going to basically heaven if you like girls and the boys, whatever the case may be. And it was just amazing to see her overcome her traumatic experience of being in a conversion therapy. And then come to find out, Tiana and Johnny, that wasn't even a licensed practice that they was doing. They're basically doing it on their free will and on a whim. Think, okay, well, we can help these children, but underlyingly knowing that in the end they was doing more damage than good, because those kids looked more worse than what they did going in, and all the trauma that they had to suffer at the hands of them is just like, it was just too much. But I'm glad to see that, Alex got to live her life and be with who she wants to be without having the pressures of anybody telling her what she can and what she cannot do. This is an overall great movie. I do recommend anybody who would like to watch it, please watch it. It was on the Lifetime app. You can get the Movie Club app, or you can get the Lifetime app, and it's called Trapped: The Alex Cooper Story. It's a very heartbreaking, heartfelt, real life story. So guys, I hope y'all enjoyed this review and enjoyed this video. Please give it a like, comment down below, hit that subscribe button so that you can be notified every time I post. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.